Chapter 1. The First Small Step. In a quiet town surrounded by small houses and narrow streets, there lived a boy named Hamza. He was an ordinary student. He was not the best in his class. He was not the worst either. He was simply average. He went to school every morning. He came back home every afternoon. After lunch, he usually picked up his phone. He watched short videos. He played games. He laughed at funny clips. Hours passed quickly. When evening came, he felt tired but not satisfied. His homework felt heavy. His mind felt distracted. He often told himself that he would study seriously from tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. One day his English teacher gave the class a simple task. She said, "Read for 20 minutes every day." The students looked at each other. Some smiled. Some looked bored. Hamza also felt confused. He thought reading was only for exams. He believed it was something people do when they have no other work. But his teacher explained something important. She said reading every day is like watering a plant. If you water it daily, it grows slowly and becomes strong. If you forget it, it becomes weak. Her words were simple, but they touched Hamza's heart. That evening, Hamza looked at his bookshelf. It was dusty. There were a few old storybooks that he had never finished. He picked one small book. It had a simple cover and short chapters. He told himself, "I will read only 10 minutes." He sat on his bed and opened the first page. At first, his mind wandered. He thought about his phone. He thought about his friends. The words felt slow. He wanted to stop. But he remembered his teacher's advice. He decided to continue. After a few pages, something changed. The story was about a young boy who wanted to help his poor family. The boy worked hard and never gave up. Hamza became curious. He wanted to know what would happen next. He forgot about his phone. He forgot about the time. When he looked at the clock, 30 minutes had passed. He was surprised. He closed the book slowly. He felt calm. His mind was quiet. That night, he slept peacefully. The next day, he decided to read again. This time, it felt easier. The words were not heavy. His focus was better. He understood the story more clearly. He started to imagine the scenes in his mind. He could see the small house. He could see the tired parents. He could see the brave boy in the story. Reading was no longer just words on paper. It became pictures in his mind. A week turned into 2 weeks. Reading became part of his daily routine. He still used his phone, but for less time. He started to enjoy quiet moments with a book. He noticed small changes in himself. In class, he understood lessons faster. He answered questions with more confidence. His vocabulary improved. He learned new words and their meanings. For example, he learned that effort means hard work. He learned that focus means attention. These new words helped him speak better. His parents also noticed a change. They saw him sitting quietly with a book instead of staring at a screen. They saw him finishing his homework earlier. They saw him smiling more. Hamza himself felt proud. For the first time, he felt that he was improving step by step. Okay. It was not a big change. It was small, but it was real. Sometimes he felt lazy. Sometimes he did not feel like reading. On those days, he told himself to read at least 2 pages. He understood something important. Success is not about big actions. It is about small actions done every day. Reading daily taught him discipline. Discipline means doing the right thing even when you do not feel like doing it. This lesson was powerful. Hamza realized that reading was not only about stories. It was about training his mind. When he read, he practiced patience. When he read, he practiced focus. When he read, he learned new ideas. Slowly, his thinking became deeper. He started asking better questions. He became more curious about the world. One evening, he sat near the window with his book. The sky was turning orange. The air was cool. He felt peaceful. He thought about his life before reading daily. He remembered how distracted he was. He remembered how quickly he became bored. Now he felt stronger inside. He felt more in control of his time. He understood that the power of reading every day is not loud. It does not show quick results. It's peps. It works quietly, like roots growing under the soil. You cannot see the roots, but they make the tree strong. Reading was building his roots. It was giving him knowledge. It was giving him confidence. It was giving him hope. Hamza smiled and closed his book for the night. He knew this was only the beginning. He had taken a small step, but that small step was changing his life. He promised himself that he would continue reading every day. He did not know how far this habit would take him, but he knew one thing clearly. The journey had started, and he was ready to grow. Chapter 2. The Growth of the Mind. Hamza did not stop after the first few weeks. He continued reading every day. At first, it was only storybooks. Then he became curious about other topics. He began to read simple books about history. He read small articles about science. He read short biographies of successful people. His world slowly became bigger. Before, his world was only his school, his home, and his friends. Now, his world included different countries, different ideas, and different ways of thinking. One day, he read about Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He learned how he worked with strong determination and clear vision. Hamza understood that great leaders are not born in one day. They grow through learning and discipline. Another day, he read about Thomas Edison. He learned that Edison failed many times before inventing the light bulb. This lesson stayed in his mind. Failure was not the end. It was part of success. Reading gave him these powerful lessons in a simple way. As he continued reading daily, he noticed that his thinking was changing. Before, he accepted everything without question. Now, he started thinking deeply. If he heard news, he asked himself if it was true. If someone shared an opinion, he thought about both sides. Reading improved his critical thinking. Critical thinking means thinking carefully before believing something. This skill made him wiser. His memory also improved. In class, he remembered lessons more easily. When teachers asked questions, he could connect ideas from different subjects. For example, when learning about a historical event, he could relate it to a story he had read. This made his answers stronger. His teachers were impressed. They saw growth in his confidence and clarity. Hamza also noticed improvement in his language. His vocabulary became richer. He learned new words daily. For example, he learned the word perseverance, which means never giving up. He learned the word knowledge, which means information and understanding. These words were not just meanings in a dictionary. They became part of his thinking. He used them in essays. He used them in conversations. Slowly his speech became clear and organized. Reading every day also trained his focus. In the past, he could not sit quietly for long. His mind jumped from one thing to another. But now, when he opened a book, he could sit for 40 or even 50 minutes without distraction. This focus helped him in other areas. When studying math, he concentrated better. When listening to his teacher, he paid full attention. Reading had strengthened his mental muscles. Another change happened in his imagination. When he read novels, he created pictures in his mind. He imagined mountains, rivers, cities, and villages. He imagined brave heroes and kind teachers. This imagination made his mind creative. He started writing small paragraphs in his notebook. Sometimes, he wrote about his dreams. Sometimes he wrote about lessons he learned. His writing improved because his reading increased. He understood that reading and writing are connected. The more you read, the better you express yourself. Reading also gave him emotional strength. When he read about people who faced hardship, he felt inspired. He realized that everyone struggles. Everyone has challenges. This understanding made him patient. When he failed in a small test, he did not feel hopeless. He remembered the stories of people who failed many times but continued trying. He told himself that improvement takes time. His daily routine became more organized. After school, he finished his homework first. Then he spent time reading. Only after that did he relax with his phone. Reading taught him time management. It taught him that important tasks should come before entertainment. This small habit made his days more productive. His friends began to notice his growth. Some of them asked him why he was changing. He smiled and said, "I read every day." At first, they laughed. But when they saw his grades improving, they became curious. A few of them started reading too. Hamza felt happy. He realized that good habits can inspire others. One evening, While sitting quietly with a book, he thought about the journey so far. It had been only a few months, but the changes were clear. His mind was sharper, his thoughts were deeper. His words were stronger. He felt more confident when speaking in front of others. He felt more prepared for exams. He felt more aware of the world around him. He understood something very important. Reading every day is not magic. It does not change life in one night. It works slowly and quietly. It builds knowledge step by step. It strengthens focus day by day. It improves language word by word. This slow growth is powerful because it lasts. Hamza closed his book and looked at the sky outside his window. He felt grateful. He realized that the simple habit he once ignored was now shaping his future. The growth of his mind had begun, and it was becoming stronger with every page he turned. Chapter 3: The Change in Character. As months passed, the habit of reading every day did more than improve Hamza's grades. It began to change his character. The change was slow, but it was deep. Before, Hamza thought mostly about himself. He cared about his marks. He cared about his games. He cared about what others thought of him. But through books, he started seeing life from different angles. He started understanding other people's feelings. One evening, he read a story about a man who forgave his enemies after many years of suffering. Frey. The story reminded him of Nelson Mandela. Hamza learned how Mandela spent many years in prison, but came out without hatred. Instead of taking revenge, he chose peace. This idea surprised Hamza. He asked himself, if I were in his place, could I forgive? He felt that forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength. That night, he thought about a small fight he had with his friend. He decided to forgive him the next day. When he did, he felt light and peaceful inside. Reading taught him empathy. Empathy means understanding the feelings of others. When he read stories about poor families, he felt their pain. Kang. When he read about brave people, he felt their courage. Slowly, he began to listen more carefully when someone spoke. He did not interrupt quickly. He tried to understand first. This small change improved his friendships. People felt comfortable talking to him. His anger also reduced. Before, when something went wrong, he became upset very quickly. If he lost a game, he felt frustrated. If someone criticized him, he felt hurt. But books taught him patience. He read about characters who faced great problems with calmness. He realized that anger does not solve problems. Calm thinking does. When he felt angry, he would take a book and read for some time. After reading, his mind became quiet. His heart became steady. Reading also strengthened his honesty. Many stories showed that truth always wins in the end. Lies may bring short success, but they destroy trust. Hamza started being more truthful, even in small matters. If he forgot homework, he admitted it. If he made a mistake, he accepted it. At first, it felt difficult, but later, it became natural. He understood that character is built by small, honest actions. He also learned respect. Through books, he learned about different cultures, religions, and traditions. He understood that people around the world live differently, but they all have hopes and dreams. This knowledge made him open-minded. He stopped judging people quickly. He learned that everyone has a story. Everyone has struggles that others cannot see. Another strong lesson he learned was responsibility. In many stories, the hero takes responsibility for his actions. The hero does not blame others. Hamza began to apply this in his life. If he performed poorly in a test, he did not blame the teacher. He asked himself if he had prepared well. If he wasted time, he accepted it and tried to improve. Responsibility made him mature. His parents noticed the difference. They saw that he helped more at home. He assisted his younger sister with her homework. He listened carefully when his father spoke. He respected his mother's advice. Faco. These changes were not forced. They came naturally from the lessons he absorbed while reading. Reading every day also made him humble. The more he learned, the more he realized how much he did not know. This understanding kept him grounded. He did not show off his knowledge. He shared it kindly. He understood that true wisdom is quiet. His confidence changed too. Before, he wanted attention. Now, his confidence was calm and stable. He spoke when needed. He listened when needed. He felt secure inside. Books had given him inner strength. They shaped not only his mind, but also his heart. One afternoon, while sitting alone with a book, he reflected on his journey. He realized that reading was not just giving him information. It was shaping his values. It was guiding his decisions. It was teaching him right from wrong without shouting at him. Books became silent. Teachers, they corrected him gently. They inspired him quietly. Hamza understood a powerful truth. The power of reading every day is not only in knowledge. It is in character. Knowledge makes you smart, but character makes you strong. Knowledge helps you succeed, but character helps you stay successful. Reading had planted good values deep inside him. As he closed his book that evening, he felt grateful. He knew that the boy who once avoided books was slowly becoming a thoughtful and kind young man. The pages he read were shaping his future, one lesson at a time. Chapter 4. The Power of Knowledge. As the years moved forward, Hamza's habit of reading every day became stronger and more meaningful. It was no longer something he forced himself to do. It became a natural part of his life. Just like eating food and sleeping at night, reading became necessary for his growth. He felt incomplete if he missed a day. Even on busy days, he read a few pages before sleeping. He understood that consistency is more important than speed. At this stage of his journey, Hamza started reading more serious books. Lumd, he explored science, history, business, and personal development. He wanted to understand how the world works. He wanted to know why some people succeed and others struggle. He read about inventors, leaders, and entrepreneurs. One day, he read about Bill Gates. He learned that Bill Gates reads many books every year and believes reading is one of the main reasons for his success. This inspired Hamza deeply. He realized that successful people are lifelong learners. Reading expanded his thinking. Before, he saw problems as obstacles. Now, he saw them as challenges to solve. Books taught him that every difficulty carries a lesson. When he faced a hard subject in school, he did not panic. Hogafi. He searched for books or articles to understand it better. Knowledge gave him confidence. Confidence means believing in yourself. The more he learned, the more confident he became. He also developed critical thinking. He did not accept information blindly. He compared ideas. He asked questions. He searched for evidence. This made him independent in his thoughts. When friends followed rumors, he stayed calm. When people complained about life, he looked for solutions. Reading had trained his mind to think clearly and logically. His focus became stronger than ever. He could sit for long hours preparing for exams without feeling tired. His brain was trained through daily reading. It was like a muscle that had become strong with exercise. He realized that reading improves concentration. Concentration means full attention. This ability helped him not only in studies, but also in daily life. Another important change was in his communication skills. Because he read different types of books, he learned how to express ideas clearly. When he spoke in class presentations, his words were organized. His sentences were simple but powerful. Teachers appreciated his clarity. He was not afraid to speak out in front of others anymore. Reading had removed his fear slowly. He also learned about time management. Many books explained how successful people plan their days. Hamza began waking up earlier. He made a simple schedule. He divided his time between study, reading, exercise, and rest. His life became balanced. He wasted less time on unnecessary activities. He understood that time is precious. Once lost, it never returns. Reading also opened his eyes to opportunities. He learned about scholarships, competitions, and career paths through books and articles. He started setting goals. A goal is a clear target you want to achieve. Before, he lived day by day without direction. Now, he had a vision for his future. He wanted to continue learning and growing. His teachers noticed that he was different from others. He asked meaningful questions. He connected ideas from different subjects. For example, when studying history, he linked it with lessons from leadership books. When learning science, he connected it with real-life inventions. This ability made his understanding deeper. Reading also gave him mental strength during hard times. When he faced failure, he remembered stories of people who failed many times before success. When he felt doubt, he read motivational chapters. Books became his silent support system. They guided him when he felt confused. Hamza understood something very important. Knowledge is power. But it is not power to control others. It is power to control yourself. No. It is power to make better decisions. It is power to avoid mistakes. It is power to build a strong future. He realized that reading every day is like planting seeds. At first, nothing seems to happen. But under the soil, roots are growing. Over time, those roots become a strong tree. That tree gives fruit and shade. In the same way, daily reading was building his inner strength. It was shaping his future quietly. One evening, as he closed a book after finishing a powerful chapter, he looked around his small room. Hey! It was simple. Nothing had changed on the outside. But inside him, everything had changed. His thinking was mature. His goals were clear. His confidence was strong. All of this came from a simple habit that started with 10 minutes a day. He smiled and whispered to himself that reading every day had become his greatest investment.